Hi, it's me, Reedy, back with you for episode 55 of Beat the First Man after my week off. So coming up on this week's show, we are back with a musical zooming in. We're joined by Jack Cattell, top musician and big Wolves fan. Tales of the Unexpected makes a long-awaited return. Dad v Lad Fantasy Football, LOOKALIKE-E-E, and loads more, including a little trip to Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police FC. What are we waiting for? Roll the titles. So a brief week off, but we are back and ready to rock and roll with the most unique football show on YouTube, that is Beat the First Man. So without further ado, let's get on board the BTFM bus and get on with the show. And how better to start than by putting this bad boy on. The old Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police helmet, which is, of course, means it's Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police time. So, what happened last week when I went on holiday? Well, yes, I went to Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police's ground. And guess who I met? Have a look. That's me with the first team squad. Great lads. They were in their training session. They stopped for the photo, full of chatter. One of them actually, be the first man, bloke. Yes, it's me. It was me. No autographs, which was a little disappointing. So we had a great time. We met up. I met mid-table Gary. Met Rich Organ. Rich has been fantastic with us all the way through. He's been the one who's been setting all things up in the background. He's been the one who helped get lads on the show. He's been the one who's really pushing it. The man, if you cut him in half in the middle, he bleeds Stoke Gabriel. There's no two ways about it. He's so proud of that club, and literally every pore of his body sweats and bleeds Stoke Gabriel. God love him. Him and his family, absolutely brilliant, including the infamous Baby Dylan. We met him too. We met Josh Organ, the goalkeeper who made members on the show a while. We met first team manager Dennis, met Luke, the assistant manager. So we had a whole host of people. Had a tour around the ground, a little gift. Cheers, boys. Thank you very much for me and the good lady. So great little setup down there. A couple of small-sided pitches, full-size training pitch on the back, main pitch with a lovely balcony. But by God, that'll get cold there in the winter. So if you're ever in that neck of the woods, pop in and see them. Honestly, they'll be so welcoming. And probably best to do it when there's a game on. Don't just go breaking in. That wouldn't be good. We're not encouraging that in any way, shape or form. So the question is, did my visit bring them luck on Saturday? They were so bloody stupid. They lost 6-2 and had 2 men sent off. Luck. Jesus Christ, they brought them anything but. Great people though. Little montage of photos at the end of the show of the ground as well. So stick around for that. If you're not sticking around for all of that, fast forward all the way to the end and see the pictures. So, how old? That time when we stick up an old footballer and all you've got to do is guess how old he was when the photo was taken. This week we head to the home of Paddington Bear, no less than Peru itself. Our man was a midfielder. He spent his entire playing career at Sporting Cristal. But to be honest, that's all I've got. I've searched loads, but I can't find much on this guy. Other than the fact he had a distinguished international career. He made 50 appearances for the Peruvians with that famous white shirt with the red diagonal stripe across the middle, and he scored 1 goal. He even appeared at the 1978 World Cup in Argentina as well. However, as you know, facts aren't really our forte on this show. What we want to know is when this photo of ALFREDO QUESADA was taken. How old was he? Answer to be revealed later in the show. And I know, it's not an easy one. So, with Kian feeling better this week than he was a couple of weeks ago, you may remember he couldn't come on the show a couple of weeks ago, it was time to get back to doing what we do best. So let's not beat around the bush. Here's fantasy football. Dad v Lad. One. So here we are then, back with Dad v Lad Fantasy Football, and look who's back. It's Kian. Kian, how are we?
Not bad.
So tell everyone where you've been for the last show that you missed.
Well, I had COVID, so I was just out of it, really.
Yes, you did have COVID, and you weren't very well with COVID either, were you?
No, but
no.
It's
So
all right
you were not one of the no symptoms COVID brigade. You were one of the whoops, that really isn't very clever brigade.
Yeah.
So moving on. So you dodged that week, which rather brilliantly was my best week because we actually drew that week. So good work. So we'll go on to last week, and it's a narrow victory for you, 50 points to 42 to you.
Oh.
So did you have any successes last week from any individuals?
I hate who it was against, but Alexander Arnold.
Yeah. Well, you see, I didn't have any real outstanding successes, but every single one of my team scored points.
Well, one of mine scored minus points.
Now, I had no minuses, which is incredible. But everyone scored. My top scorer was 8 points, which was Salah. Again, not against the team I really wanted him to get 8 points against.
Yeah, that was my two top scorers, Alexander Arnold and Salah.
Brilliant. So overall in the league table, as he quickly scans to the league table, you currently sit in 12th place with 251 points. So you are you're 97 behind the leader.
Slowly catching up.
Yeah, and I am in 22nd place. I am 36 points behind you, so not a massive amount of points behind you. There's a lot of teams in between you and me on sort of the same number of points. So let's go to this week. And have you made any transfers ahead of this week?
I'll just have to look. Hold on. Pick team. Lukaku's come in.
Oh.
So I've got him in. And Ben Rama. I don't think he was in it last week.
No, I think you had him last week, but you didn't have him last time that you were on the show, did you?
Oh, yeah. I didn't have him last time I was on here, but he was in it last week.
So Lukaku's in. So who's been dumped?
Antonio.
Oh, yeah, because he got sent off. The one that was carrying you all season has now been dumped.
And Gilmore's coming as well, but he's on the bench.
Yeah.
To make the funds for he's made the funds for Antonio. And that would have been Mount.
Right, okay, interesting. So we'll go to my transfers. Mount out. So I got rid of Mount on the grounds that clearly there seems to be a bit of a rotation thing at Chelsea. He dropped him last week, so I weren't too happy. So he's gone, and I brought in Wilfred Zaha.
Yeah.
So my incoming. That's the only change I've made, though. It's the only transfer I've made this week. I have made a couple of team changes this week, though. I've Gilmore's back on the bench. Rafinha's back in.
Yeah, he's in mine.
And Tony's back on the bench, and Vardy's back in. And
all right.
I've dropped Kufau, West Ham. Despite his clean sheet last week, he's been dropped, and I brought in Pereira from Leicester. Who was on he was in. To be fair, he was injured, but I brought him back in because they are away at Brighton.
Oh, they should get some points, really. Although they've started quite well. Yeah,
they have started quite well. So, so who are you going for as your team lineup for this week then?
So we've got Edison in goal.
Yeah.
Diaz, Cresswell, Alexander Arnold, and Ayling.
Yeah.
Grealish, Ben Rama, Salah, Rafinha.
Yeah.
Bamford, Lukaku.
Right. So I've got Lloris, which I'm a bit worried about because they've got Chelsea at home. I've got Diaz, Cody, Digne, and Pereira.
Yeah.
And I've got Salah, Zaha, Rafinha, and Grealish, and Richarlison and Vardy. So,
not too bad.
Who are you going for as your vice captain this weekend?
I'm still a bit undecided, but I think the vice will stay as Ben Rama, but then they have got Man United.
Yeah.
So that might change to Bamford.
Right, okay. Well, I've gone Rafinha as my vice captain this week.
Yeah.
Newcastle away. I think this is the game. This is the one where our season starts on Friday. This could bite me on the arse on Saturday morning. But I think he's just due a good game. I think it's coming on Friday. Yeah. So I've gone Rafinha as my vice captain. So who have you gone as your captain?
I've gone for Lukaku because realistically, if Edouard can do what he did to Tottenham, then surely Lukaku can do even better.
Yeah, I hope not, because I've got Lloris. Not as my captain. So I've gone for Salah as my captain because they've got Palace at home.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Salah as my captain.
Yeah, I've just seen the teams they're all playing against, and the captain might change.
Yeah, well, there you go. I made my changes last night, and that was based around who they're playing. So any players that you've got, this is, you might not know, but I just realised that any players you've got that have spent the entire season on the subs bench?
Yeah, there's definitely two.
Oh.
Obafemi,
Yeah.
who is, for some reason, well, he's been transferred to Swansea.
Right, okay. You can get rid of him then. Why are you keeping him?
Because I'd take a -4 if I got rid of him. And Foster, who's been out injured, but he's not going to come in over Edison anyway.
Yeah, well, I've got Foster, who's also out injured. I've got the same sub goalie. So if Lloris gets injured, I'm in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we shall see how that goes come next week. So at the moment, you lead by 36 points. We'll check in again next week. I'm confident I'm going to close the gap this week. Very confident.
I've got a lot of the same team playing, so I'm not as sure this week.
Yeah, well, I think Lukaku's going to have a blank week.
I'd hope not, because I've only just put him in.
Although Bamford's getting a hat-trick, so that might hurt me.
I'd hope so.
Right, so Kia, thank you very much. Glad to see you feeling better. And for now, it is back to the show. We'll see you next week, Key.
See you in a bit.
So, a 50-42 win for Kean last week, leaving him 251, 215 ahead, just 36 points in it. So, still plenty of time to go, and I think he's a little bit worried. Now, Antonio's out, he's a little bit worried. Our man Gary Hamilton and his Kaja Warriors, they still lead the way, stunning 348 points so far, so I'm 44 ahead of his nearest challenger. Elvis Chitawa has kept his place at the bottom, 151 points, some 11 points behind his nearest rival. So, not guaranteed to finish bottom, but making a good fist of it already. So, this is the closest week we've ever been to not using this bad boy. A few 5-goal wins, but I didn't think we were going to get the 6-goal Hammer Time win that we so look forward to. But wait. The boys in Estonia from Flora Tallinn done us proud. They did what we needed to do in their trip to Pärnu JK Vaprus. Probably all pronounced incorrectly. My Estonian's a bit shit, I won't lie. So first half, nothing to write home about. Tallinn led 1-0 at half time, an own goal. So 1-0, why are we even talking about it, to be honest? 22 minutes to go, still 1-0. Not going to need this really, are you? Wait. Goals in the 68th, 74th and the 75th minute. Suddenly it was 4-0 to Flora Tallinn. No evidence of anyone being sent off. Clearly the home side just gave up. Tallinn wanted part of this though. They wanted this bad boy, and in the 80th and the 82nd minutes they made it 6-0. So they scored 5 times in 14 minutes. I mean, that's like kids football, not being funny. So, meaning for this week, Pärnu JK Varpus, you will be the chair. Flora Tallinn, you will be the hammer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flora Tallinn, hammer time. There we go, to get rid of that one. So,
Lookalike-E-E.
Yes. Lookalike-E-E. After the roaring success of last week's Bruce Willis and Brad Friedel lookalike, which, let's face it, was utterly brilliant, this week the worlds of football and music collide, no less. So the silky midfield skills of the Croatian midfield maestro that is Luka Modric. He also likes to double up as David Guetta, superstar DJ. Take a look for yourselves. Now, I mean, it's good, but there's a little part of me thinks Luka Modric looks more like this person. Yes, Gabriel Tilsley from Coronation Street. So there we go. We'll be back next week for another one of
Look-alike-E-E.
There we go. The little jingle as well. And I don't have to pay any royalties because it's my daughter singing it. Don't have to pay her a penny. Fantastic. So, here he is, back, our old mate Ted. Who is this Paddington? What, Ted? You said earlier about Paddington Bear. There's only one bear on this show, me. The Tedster, the one and only Ted. Yeah, I was just pointing out someone who was famous and they were from Peru. I'm famous in Peru. I'm famous everywhere. Okay, Ted, anyway, did you enjoy your week off? Yeah, took myself on a tour of red list countries. They were empty, not a soul in sight. It was brilliant. Ted, I'm not 100% certain that's the idea of the red list countries. I mean, shouldn't you be quarantining? No, I'm a teddy bear star. I can do what I like. Okay, fair enough. So you're back with your treble this week then, Ted. We obviously had the little knob of the month for August last time round. So your treble for this week. Well, Reedy, I'm giving you the opportunity to print money this week. It's an absolute certain winner. I've heard this before many a time. Okay, so the first win is on Sunday. Chelsea to win at Tottenham. Oh, Ted, that's a tough call. It's a London derby. The two sides really not big fans of each other. You're forgetting something, Reedy. What's that, Ted? Spurs. Spurs being Spursy. Yeah, okay. So you got Chelsea to win then. That's a tight call, that one. But yeah, that's fair enough. So what's your second choice then? Well, I'm going Liverpool to beat Crystal Palace with a -1 handicap. So you're going for Liverpool starting a goal down effectively against Palace and still winning. I mean, Palace looked a lot better last time out. Have you seen Liverpool? I mean, they could have handed out hammer time to you boys last Sunday. Ted, don't get me started. If I start going ranting about Clippity Clop, I will be here for some time. Let's move on to your third and final one. Okay, well, I'm going Burnley double chance against Arsenal. Oh, so Burnley to win or draw against Arsenal. Now, again, Arsenal got their first win last week. I refer you to my previous statement on this show. Arsenal are bobbins. Yeah, but playing Burnley, I've got a feeling they might get something. But, well, anyway, your treble pays just under 4-1, Ted. Show me the money. Okay, very nice. A film star reference there from yourselves. Really, get your money on it. And never mention that fraud Paddington ever again. Okay, Ted, so we'll see you later then for How Old the Reveal, yeah? Am I allowed to mention panpipes? No, Ted, absolutely not. Okay, leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about Ted's treble. Will you be backing it? Did you back it? Did you lose? Did you win? Let me know. Comments down below. So, zooming in, this week it's back and we had a musical artist back on the show in the shape of Jack Cattell, as we discussed his music, his love of Wolves, and watch as he selects a rather flamboyant five-a-side team, it's fair to say. Be sure to put my teeth back in. Be sure to catch a clip of his tune LFTW after the chat, but for now, here is Zooming In with Jack Cattell.
Here we are then, back with another Zooming In. It's been a couple of weeks and that's our first musical artist for a couple of weeks. It's the man himself, Mr. Jack Cattell. Jack, how are we?
I'm really good, and fair play to you. You've got my last name right. You're one of the very few. You're one of the very few. I'll take it.
I can let you into a little secret. There used to be a lad who played for a local non-league team that I watched called Stuart Cattell, and that's the only reason I knew.
I'll give it you anyway. I'll give you the pass.
Thank you very much. So Jack, as well as being a very talented musical artist, is also a massive Wolves fan. We'll come on to Wolves in a bit, Jack, but we'll start with your music first off. So, as always, there will be people out there who don't know who Jack Cattell is, what you're all about, mate. So the shop floor is yours. Sell yourself. What are you about? What's your music about? How'd you get into it?
So I started out as a solo artist when I was about sort of 17, 18. I'd been knocking around a few bands when I was a bit younger, but never really went anywhere. And then got the band involved late 2019. And then 2020, so we got the band together and then all of a sudden COVID decided to just jump in our way. But yeah, we're sort of hitting the ground again now. We're trying to gain that momentum back. We're an indie band from just outside Wolverhampton in the West Midlands, trying to sort of get some feel good tunes out there and get people bouncing again. That's what we want at our shows, and we pride ourselves on our live performance especially. And hopefully we'll have some new stuff for you in the new year, and we can really start to hit things again now that COVID's sort of leaving us behind a little bit. We can sort of get back to normal. Yeah, I'm going to try and be positive, because otherwise we'll end up crying again, won't we?
I know. Well, talking of positives and bouncy tunes, I've been listening to LFTW, which I'm presuming, well, we know what it stands for. I'm not even going to embarrass myself by saying what it stands for, because you can go and listen to it. But those who can't work it out, it's Living for the Weekend. Top tune. I said to you before we came on air, the first time I listened to it, within a minute, I knew the words to the song before the song had even finished, which I think that says a lot about the song itself. What's the inspiration? I mean, it's just a life song. It's just that general life thing, isn't it? But it's so, I think everyone will be able to sort of they can see themselves in that song.
Yeah, it does what it says on the tin. Realistically, it was wrote during lockdown when, we were all sort of craving a night in the pub with our mates and a few too many. But it's about being young. It's about going out, and those nights that get a little bit too messy, where you wake up in the morning and you're saying, "Oh, I'm never doing this again, never drinking again," and then your mate will call you later on in the day and go, "Come on, we're going out." And you're doing it 2 nights, 3 nights in a row. And, it like you say, it's just about life, and to hear that, you know the words after one listen, we must be doing something right with it. But it's a tune we're really proud of and really happy with.
Yeah. And it's very, I mean, I gave two, so I gave you What I See and LFTW. I gave them both a listen. 2 more different songs you could not wish to hear. I think they're poles apart in what they are, but both very good in their own way. Have you trying to go down any particular genre, if you like, of music, or is it just about bringing out different tunes to suit the mood at the time?
Not particularly. I don't try and nail myself and the band to sort of one genre. I don't think that's a good way to be productive personally. I think when you're writing, you write what's there, and it just comes to you. It's not one of these things that you can necessarily plan. But I think that's what stands us in good stead for the future, is that you can have that sort of longevity when you've got that variation in your tunes. I know people go on about Catfish and the Bottom and being too samey, and they've done 3 albums where all the songs are very, very similar sounding, and people don't want that long term. And we want this to be a career. We don't want this to just be a money making scheme or anything. We want to earn a living from this, and this is what we love doing, and this is what we want, as all of us want as a career. So I think that'll stand us in good stead for future. That like you've mentioned, that we've got 2 tunes there that are polar opposites pretty much, but we've got that in our arsenal. We've got that, and I think it's a good thing to be a bit more open minded, not just pin your colours to the mast.
No, and I am a musical expert, as you may have seen me discuss on my other podcast. My musical expertise is trying to pin you down and say you sound like these. You and there's been one other have been the hardest I could say who sounded like anyone. The only thing I could say, you've got a definite American twang to your singing voice, which our lad from Wolverhampton does that. I don't know.
No, nor me. I don't know either.
But the best, I mean, I think to me, LFTW, there's a bit of Weezer in there, a little bit of Weezer in there was the best I could come up with, but I was really struggling, and it really pissed me off that I couldn't come up with anybody.
So when I'm playing sort of solo, I do a lot of covers work in sort of pubs and restaurants and stuff like that. I get Jake Bugg quite a lot. I sound like Jake Bugg, and I've had Tom Grennan in the past, and I'm a massive Tom Grennan fan, so that that's just up here for me. But I think a lot of people do struggle to sort of pin us down to, especially bands wise. I think they struggle to pin us down, which again I think is a good thing. It shows that we've got a selling point there, and we've got that bit of uniqueness about us, and I like that.
Without a shadow of doubt. And anybody who doesn't follow you on Twitter needs to do so, because you occasionally put some cracking cover tunes on your Twitter then you get irate because somebody somewhere else has taken it down that's pissed you off. So it's, for that alone, it's entertaining. But you were to do some banging cover tunes as well.
Yeah, I haven't been doing too many of late, to be fair. I've just been really busy. We've got a lot going on behind the scenes, trying to sort of rebrand ourselves and get some different imagery into our social media. But yeah, I've had a bit of free time this week, and I put a Tom Grennan cover up yesterday, and every social media platform apart from Twitter tried to take it down. So I had emails and emails coming through from Facebook and Instagram trying to take it down for copyright, and I was just like, so what are they going to do about karaoke now? Is that just dead in the water? That was my point. But yeah, we had a bit of trauma yesterday.
Well, I once put a German football goal in my YouTube video, and literally within 20 seconds of it going online, YouTube had taken it down because of Bundesliga copyright rules. So you're like, really?
It's ridiculous.
I've got like 100 people watch this show. What is it really going to come out that much?
Yeah, it's not like you're going to make any money out of it, is it?
No, exactly.
It's daft. It's daft.
Crackers. But so one question I love to ask musicians, and it's a twofold thing. So first off, if you could collaborate with absolutely anybody, dead or alive, who would you go for?
Chuck Berry. Not even. I don't even have to think about it. And for people who think that I've been asked this before, we've come on to the show. I haven't. I haven't. I was going to say that's why I'm surprised you answered it so quick. Straight away, you know, he's someone I've loved his music ever since my dad first played and me in the car. Played that first lick of Johnny B. Good, and I was hooked. And I think he was a pioneer at the time as well. He's just one of the all-time greats, and to collaborate with him, it'd have just been exceptional.
So this is where I make it more difficult. So metaphorically speaking, you get the opportunity to collaborate with Chuck Berry, but the next day, guitar has to go away. You never sing, you never perform again, or you don't collaborate and you carry on playing.
That's a tricky one. I'd probably have to pass up the opportunity, which pains me to say, but you know, this is my release. Realistically, you know, I've had issues with sort of mental health and stuff in the past, but this has always been the stuff that's driven me through the hard times. So I don't think I could ever give it up. I don't think I could do that.
There's still only one band only who have said if they had the opportunity, and theirs was Kurt Cobain, and they said if they'd had the opportunity, they would have folded the next day.
That's a good one, to be fair. Kurt Cobain's a good one. I hadn't even thought of Kurt, to be fair. But no, I don't think I could give it up. I just don't think I could do it.
No, you're so right. I mean, mental health is such a thing at the moment, more than ever before. And I think if this is your release, then you know you have to carry on doing it. You have to do something that keeps you channeled and happy. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, music keeps you happy. Then you stick with it, mate. Even if you are turning down Chuck Berry.
I know. I feel so bad. If he was still alive, I'd apologise to him. I'm sure he's watching.
So you said obviously you're working on possibly some new stuff in the new year. Have you got any live gigs lined up that people come and see you if they're in your neck of the woods?
We have, yeah. November's going to be looking pretty busy. We've got a gig with Marquee Drive as part of an away day radio show. And then the very next day after that, we're supporting Tom Lumley and the Brave Liaison in Birmingham at the Grey Lantern. So November's looking pretty tasty at the moment, and we're looking at getting a Christmas headliner in December, the week before Christmas. So that should be a fun one. Christmas shows are always quite fun because you seem to draw in a decent crowd still.
And the crowd are usually shit-faced by the time you've even started.
Yeah, that always helps. That always helps. It does always help.
So moving on to your football then, mate. Massive Wolves fan. Obviously, big changes at the Wolves this year. It's a Nuno-free zone. You've got your new man, Bruno Lage. What are your expectations for this season with your new man in place?
I must admit, I was one of the fans that was very pessimistic when he came in. I was a massive lover of Nuno. You know, what he's brought to my club is what dreams are made of, really. And I know some fans will probably think, oh well, you know, you didn't win anything. You only won the championship. But from where we were, which was mid-table mediocrity after the double relegations and all that come with that, I never envisaged seeing my club in Europe. And I was lucky enough to go. And travel and watch us play. Espanyol. We were going to go to Olympiacos as well, but obviously then COVID come in. But I think I was very pessimistic. He's a fairly unproven manager. I know he won things at Benfica, but I reckon I could probably win things at Benfica. It's not that tricky, is it?
Apologies to all our Benfica fans.
Yeah, apologies to all the Benfica fans, but they probably think the same. They could probably win the title there. But watching us in the first 4 games, honestly, it's the best football I've ever seen Wolves play. It's absolutely mesmerising. How we came out of those first 3 games, losing all 3, I will never know. We were Leicester could have probably been a draw, but the other 2, we played Tottenham and Man United off the park. We absolutely played them off the park and just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And we were lucky against Watford, to be fair, with the own goal. But I think things will click. I think when Jimenez gets that match fitness back, because he seems like he's still probably about a month away, I think, from full fitness and
proper sharpness. Yeah,
and being match sharp. I think we will start firing, and that win was massive for us at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game against the side from over the hills from Leeds that we don't like to talk about at the beginning with an M, and you battered them, and you were so. I mean, the goal should never have stood, and as much as no one will ever tell me any different. It should have stood, but you played them off the park, like you said. Literally, someone stick the ball in the net, you win that game easy on another day.
Well, yeah, there was the Saïs chance. I sit in the South Bank, and it was right in front of us, and we just couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe he'd missed. It was literally 2 yards out, put it off the bar, and then put it straight at De Gea. And you knew as soon as that didn't go in. I turned and said to my brother, I was just like, we're going to lose this 1-0. And you could just see it coming a mile away. You could see it coming.
Is there any worse feeling as a football fan when you battered a team, it's still 0-0, and in your heart of hearts they're going to break away and score a 1-0 winner? Nothing more certain.
It's typical United as well, isn't it? They're always
on the plus side, they are struggling against young boys of Bern tonight, which is has made me laugh quite a bit.
Is it still 1-1?
No, they've actually lost 2-1. So there you go. Instant a 95th minute winner for young boys.
Brilliant. You love to see it.
That's made me smile quite a lot. So Adama Traore, easy for me to say, man or a myth?
I think if you ignore his finishing, which you can't, let's face it, you can't ignore it. If you ignore his finishing, I think he's genuinely world class. But if you include his finishing, which is Sunday League level, he equals out to a very good player. He is a top player. He's a top player for a club at our level, especially. I don't think we're going to get anyone better than him. At this moment in time, unless you're in Europe, I don't think you're going to get better than him. But I don't think he can make that step up to the big boys personally.
He frustrates me, and I'm not as a Wolves fan. When I watch him, you just say, "Oh my God, why could you not finish? You can do everything else so well." So God knows what it must be like for you boys to watch him. I mean, he can literally run 70 yards, beating 6 people, and then go around the keeper and put it wide of an open goal. It must drive you like mad.
It's exactly that. His ability is unbelievable. When you see him pick up a ball. For someone so stocky as well, he's obviously a big fella. He's the way he can change direction, the way he can move the ball it is a joy to watch. But then you also know that if he goes through 1-on-1, you can put your house on him missing, because he will. It's just one of them. Is a joy, but a frustration at the same time to watch.
No, I get you totally. Hence, it was a little bit tongue in cheek, because I think there are some people out there who are not having him at all as a player, but the boy's got bags of ability, and I think you got it perfect. If you ignore his finishing, he's top level. If you throw that in the mix, he's very good.
He is, and there is obviously a reason why the big boys attempted to take a chance on him. Liverpool wanted him. United have been linked with him as well. Tottenham were linked with him. So there's a reason why these big boys wanted to take a chance on him, and there's a reason that he was at Barcelona as a kid. You don't just go into Barcelona if you ain't got any ability whatsoever. But I don't think. Obviously, he's still young. He's 25, I think. But in his game, if you play him as an out and out winger and you don't expect goals from him, you expect him to get to the byline and cross the ball in. You're going to struggle to find someone who can do it that well. That type of play anyway, where he can beat a man, he can hold off a man, he can dribble around 3 or 4 players and get to that byline. As long as you keep him away from the box, he's brilliant. he genuinely is a brilliant footballer if you keep him away from the box.
It's brilliant. How great that we're trying to encourage a forward player to stay away from the box.
I know, it's strange, isn't it? It's strange.
Oh dear. So not the best player you've ever seen, but your favourite player as a Wolves fan, whether as a kid or now, whatever. Just that one player. If you were back in the playground now, you'd want to be him.
From Wolves?
Yeah.
I think he's not the best player that I've ever seen at Wolves.
No.
Like by any stretch of the imagination. But Alex Ray from back a day. He was a top player. And I loved Alex Ray. Matt Murray, when I used to play in goal. I didn't grow enough to play in goal though. I'm still 5'7", so I haven't grown since I was in year 8.
Join the club. I'm nearly 50 now, and I ain't grown either. So.
No, I'm hoping that growth spurt will hit me before 30, maybe. But Matt Murray, if I'd have carried on playing in goal, and then the best player I've ever seen at Wolves is Shea Moutinho. It's just not even close. I know he's aging, but he's that good. He's just
class
that
act.
Good. Really class.
No prize for guessing he might make your 5-a-side team.
He doesn't make my 5-a-side team now.
Oh, shocking!
Got no Wolves players in the 5-a-side team.
And on the flip side, the worst you've seen.
Oh God, there's been some bad ones at the Wolves, I tell you. So I don't think anyone will even know his name. Egert Jonsson was dreadful. He was absolutely awful. He was bought in by Mick McCarthy, I believe, and he was one of them players that was a utility man for the sole purpose that he was just shit everywhere.
Shit in every position. Any position
you played him, he was dreadful. Then we had Thomas Frankowski, the best player in Poland at the time. Polish Player of the Year. So I swear he was Polish Player of the Year 4 years on the bounce or something. Came to Wolves, couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo, didn't score a single goal. So he was pretty bad. George Friend, I know he's gone on to do quite well. But
yeah, Borough, yeah.
I think the issue with George Friend was that McCarthy, he tried to play him as a centre-back, then a left-back, then a left winger, then a right winger, and he just didn't. He didn't have a position. McCarthy just used him wherever he fancied, to be honest. So they were all pretty bad, pretty damn bad. I don't think you're getting worse than them. No,
that's fair enough. You've pulled out 2 that I'd not even heard of, and one that I had heard of. So that's always a good. I always say if people bring out players you've not heard of, you know they've been bad.
Yeah, you know they're bad then, don't you? You know they're bad.
So the either-or football question. So Darren Moore, he of West Brom fame, gets appointed Wolves manager, wins you the FA Cup. Are you chanting his name?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, if a new manager comes in, no matter whether they're an Albion legend, whether they played for the Albion, I don't give a shit, mate. I really don't.
No,
I don't think it matters. I think, if he's successful at the club, if he isn't successful, I'll back whoever's in charge. I'll back him 100%, just like any fan should. And I don't think it should matter. I mean, one of our legends, Steve Bull, he came from the shit. So, like people have short memories, and you can mask the fact that you've played for the Albion if you come to the Wolves and you do really well. So it doesn't bother me. Really doesn't bother me.
Good answer. Now, the bit that the musicians seem to love is when I make you manager of your team your five-a-side team. Only rules, you have to have seen them play live. One goalie, one defender, two midfielders, and one striker. So, because I'm a very high budget show, I have to write down who you pick as your team to put their pictures up later. So, who are you going for as your goalie then, Jack?
Petr Cech, I think. Out of all the goalkeepers I've seen, I didn't get to see Schmeichel. I didn't get to see Buffon, who I think is one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, if not the greatest goalkeeper. I'm absolutely obsessed with Gigi Buffon. I think he's exceptional. Never got to see them, so Cech's pretty much
I mean, he was
an easy pick, really.
And the thing about Cech as well, I mean, even though he got that bad head injury and he did have to wear the head guard afterwards, it didn't seem to stop his game, did it? He just carried on as he was before the head injury.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily made him any worse. I think it definitely hindered the potential that he probably did have. I think he could have been even better. But no, I think he was top class. Edwin van der Sar gets a small mention, but not even close to Cech for me.
No, fair enough. And the first person to pick Petr Cech.
Really? Who's everyone else picked then?
But there's been a lot of Schmeichel. There's been quite a bit of him. Who else have we had? I'm trying to think of other. We had Ray Clements. Who else? We had David Seaman.
See,
I can't remember. I'm trying to remember who's. Yeah, so I can't remember who a lot of the others have picked, but yeah, no, first one picked Cech, definitely.
David Seaman's up there, but I just can't forgive him. I can't forgive him. That 2002 World Cup still traumatises me. I can't forgive him for that.
The ball over the head from Ronaldinho.
Just don't.
We'll move on then to defender.
So I know a lot of people are going to pick just out and out defenders, but I've tried to be clever with this and go, who'd be good at five-a-side football, not 11-a-side football. So I've gone tactically. So I've picked Ashley Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Who I think is, if you're classing Maldini as a left-back, then probably not, but he's one of the greatest left-backs of all time, isn't he? You know, he was brilliant going forward, brilliant defensively, good on the ball. You know, he was just everything you wanted out of a full-back, weren't he?
I think if he hadn't made the comments he made when he left Arsenal, he would have got a lot more praise than he ever got. Obviously, his comments about being a slave when he was playing for Arsenal, you know, he was only on 50 grand a week. And I think that held him back, and the whole Ashley Cole thing, I do think people held that against him a little bit and sort of took it away from his ability, because like you say, he's one of the best left backs certainly this country's ever produced, and probably Europe's ever produced. You would argue
100%. Absolutely. He was next level. I think you are right. The fact that he's off the pitch sort of antics kind of hindered how people saw him, especially in the media. But he was the best left back in the world of his era, weren't he? There was no one near him, I don't think. People say everyone was close to him, but I don't think it was even a debate for me. I think Ashley Cole was clear.
If you gave me the two to choose, I would pick Cole all day long. It has to be said. I can't, like you say, other than Maldini, I can't think of too many others you'd have in ahead of him. I can't even get Ian Hart in ahead of him.
No, it's not close, is he?
Definitely not. So the first of your midfielders, then, mate.
So I've had to kind of cheat a little bit on the midfielders, because
okay,
you're
not the first to cheat.
I've never seen him play when he was a professional footballer, but I saw him play in Soccer Aid. So I've kind of fixed it and fiddled it a little bit.
No, that's okay.
I've gone again. We're going down the route of, are they going to be good at five-a-side football? And I mean, he was pretty damn good at 11-a-side football as well. Ronaldinho,
yes,
is just the perfect player for small game football, isn't he? All the tricks, all the skills.
Immense.
And it'd just be beautiful to watch, wouldn't he? He'd just be taking the piss out of people, nutmegging them just for the sake of it. I just loved watching Ronaldinho as a kid as well. Apart from the 2002 World Cup, which again we won't talk about David Seaman and his stupid ponytail. But yeah, Ronaldinho was something else, weren't he?
That class act, absolute class act. And there's a man who, despite his on the field antics, did get the recognition he deserved. Sorry, his off the field antics. Yeah,
he
the
did,
boy,
yeah.
the boy liked to party by all accounts.
Just a little bit, yeah. He's a bit of a
Allegedly,
someone, isn't he? Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, we don't want to get done, do we?
not by Ronaldinho's lawyers, no. So who's doing all his work then alongside him?
Stevie G.
Stevie G, again, not the first and certainly won't be the last to pick him.
He just had everything, didn't he? He just had absolutely everything. I think Lampard, in that sort of Gerrard Lampard Scholes debate, I think, yeah, he just had everything that the others could do, he could do just as well, couldn't he? And I know Lampard's goal record's just unrivaled for a midfielder, but I think, again, in a five-a-side game, you need a bit of that box-to-box sort of player, and especially if you've got Ronaldinho in there, he's going to be lazy, isn't he? So
yeah,
Gerrard will pick up the slack. Vieira was a close one as well for that. I think Vieira had pretty much everything to his game.
Yeah, very similar.
Not quite,
very similar. Big,
not
strong.
quite as much as Gerrard.
No, we'll take that. Say not the first, and every Liverpool fan, unsurprisingly, has had him in their team. And quite a lot of non-Liverpool fans as well, to be fair. So he's probably, I'd have to look back on it, he's probably the most picked player, I would suggest.
Yeah, not too bad, is he? He's not too bad.
No. So, who is getting all the goals up front?
So I was talking to my mate about it earlier just to see who he was going to pick, and he had Ronaldo in there. But when I saw Ronaldo play, it was, I think I've seen him a few times because we played Man United in the Cup a couple of times, but when we were in the Prem, he just joined. So he weren't quite at his peak. And when I saw the person who I'm going to pick in his peak, he was the best player in the league, and he's arguably still thought of as the best striker to ever play in the Premier League. And it's Thierry Henry.
Yeah, he's the thing with Thierry Henry as well. He was one of those annoying players, even though he didn't play for your team. It was very, very difficult to, unless you're an Irishman and support Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
It was very difficult to dislike. As not an Irishman, it didn't really bother me in the slightest. But you know, the Irish obviously dislike him with a passion for a certain reason. But
yeah, understandably, yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think fans of most teams actually quite like Thierry Henry.
He was just beautiful to watch. Similar to Ronaldinho, he had all the silkiness, didn't he? But you know, he could back it up with a goal, couldn't he, as well? You know, he was so composed, so clinical. And I think at the time when he left Arsenal, obviously he did well at Barcelona still, but he sort of played as a left winger a bit more wide at Barcelona, didn't he? Where as at Arsenal, he was sort of that type of Salah player in essence, wasn't he? But he just had everything. He just had absolutely everything. I remember, I think we lost 3-1 at home to Arsenal, and he just absolutely ran the show. He was just mesmerising to watch.
Yeah, if he was in the mood, you were in a lot of trouble, weren't you?
He was just unplayable. He was just unplayable in his day, weren't he? He was absolutely unplayable.
Yeah, no matter what you did.
It's just what
we had the misfortune of playing on a Friday night once at the old Highbury, and Michael Dubry had the honour of trying to mark him. And I think I was in a bar in Zante, and I think I was closer to Thierry Henry than Michael Dubry was for most of that game.
I think that doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
I think from memory, I think we were 5 down at half time. I'm sure it was 5. It was either 4 or 5 at half time. And I just remember thinking, there's not enough drink in this Zante bar to see me through this second half. I think it only finished 6. It was one of those where they didn't score a penny in the second half. But
yeah, they're probably on their holidays in the second half.
Well, it's not really worth it. Jack, brilliant five-a-side team. You've been a top guest. I've loved this chat tonight. It's a great laugh. I wish you all the success with your musical career for yourself and your band. Hopefully, at some stage, I can get over to see you when you're a bit nearer the East Midlands, as I live in Leicester. So if you can get yourself a bit closer to the East Midlands.
Well, we might be looking there in 22.
If you and Sam can do a double act one night, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
There you go. We'll try and sort it. I'm sure me and Sam can put our heads together.
So after our chat, there will be a clip of Jack's latest single, which I say is LFTW, which is Living for the Weekend. Watch it after this, honestly, and then go and download it. worked hard through COVID, continuing to work hard. New music coming next year for you. It's Jack Cattell. You'll find him on all your usual music platforms. You'll find him on Twitter, where he does put his covers up and then he rants about them being taken down. So go and follow him on Twitter as well. Jack, thank you so much for coming on the show, mate. Much appreciated.
No, thanks for having me, mate. It's been a good chat.
No problem at all. And for now, it's back to the show.
I'm at the age where all my mates are starting to settle down and procreate. I just turned 23. I know I'm not ready for that responsibility. Still living for the weekend and nights out on the town. Act like there's no tomorrow. Sweet drown our sorrows by finding the answers to our problems at the bottom of the bottle. Maybe we're all getting older. We're not getting any wiser. Stuck in the same routine and never coming clean, 'cause we just fall off the wagon. Waking up and we're hungover, claiming that's it, we're going sober. You know the next weekend we'll do it all again. No regrets, no regrets, no regrets.
There we have it then. Top lad was Jack. I loved that chat. He was really good. Decent side as well. And he does good music too. What's not to like? So why not head over and download his music, guys. Support our guests. These guys come on, they give up their time for me for absolutely nothing other than just have a chat on Zoom. So please support our guests. Go and download their music. Follow them on social media so you see when they release new music, and then go and download those music too. Don't just download the one that we pump on here. Go and follow them all. Honestly, there's some great music out there from artists who just don't really get a sniff of the action. So go and do it this afternoon. So a lot has happened on our Road to Wemberlee feature since the last show. So let's start with the FA Cup. You may recall we had Dave Northfield from Biggleswade on here, didn't we, on Zooming In, ahead of their side's tie against AFC Dunstable. Well, sadly, Biggleswade went down to a 1-0 defeat and were knocked out of the competition. So we're all aboard the AFC Dunstable bus now. Biggleswade have been dumped like a cheap, like that. So we're now all over AFC Dunstable. So they had to wait to find out their opponents because they were drawn against Barking or Aveley away. Well, that went to penalties the other night, and it's Barking. So Dunstable are away at Barking on Saturday. So we're all on AFC Dunstable. Can they lift the beat the first man FA Cup curse? Surely this time we're sticking with a team for another round. So good luck to AFC Dunstable. Let's see that victory. Let's see who they get in the next round. In the Vars, that kicked off last week when Torpoint entertained Callington and triumphed 1-0. Now, we've cheated a little bit with the Vars, I'm not going to lie, because we were going to go with Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police. But Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police got a bye to the first round. So we've had to pick the team who Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police have drawn, which was Torpoint or Callington. So Torpoint have won, we've cast them aside, all over Stoke Gabriel and Torbay Police. So when that tie comes round, that's who we're back in. So they've been drawn against Torpoint. But as always, guys, Wemberlee, Wemberlee, we are BTFM and we're on the road to Wemberlee, Wemberlee, and relax. So the lineal European Cups, again, an awful lot of water has passed under the bridge since the last show, but we've still got the same holders of the respective trophies. The lineal European Cup still under the watchful eye of Freiburg. They got a tricky away trip this week to Mainz. So a European Cup final between Mainz and Freiburg. That's what makes this competition so great and so interesting. In the lineal UEFA Cup, having won in Turkey in midweek against Besiktas, Borussia Dortmund still hold the trophy. This week they stick it in a suitcase and they meet up against Union Berlin. So not an easy one for Borussia Dortmund. Can they retain the lineal UEFA Cup? We'll find out after this weekend. So time to find out how old the reveal is. So with Ted back, how did you get on with this one, mate? Reedy, this game is one of the biggest jokes on YouTube. Ted, I'm not being funny, that's just a bit rude and a bit harsh. It is, Reedy. random old footballers from way back in the day, and people having to guess how old they are. What next? Whether players are dead or alive or not? Ted, that sounds brilliant. Really? No, absolutely not. Okay, well, let's get on with it then. So let's have your guess for this week. Well, really, let's face it, it'll be somewhere between 24 and 44. It will be somewhere between 24 and 44. You're not wrong, Ted, but I need a number, don't I? Oh, okay, well, I'm going to go 27. Okay, well, let's find out. So when this picture of ALFREDO QUESADA was taken, he was 29 years old. Told you, really, anything between 24 and 44. Now can I mention panpipes? No, Ted, it's just lazy joke. I'm sure I've seen him in the height. No, enough. You have not seen him in the height. Whatever you were going to say, playing panpipes. It's just a cheap, stereotypical joke that we will not be doing on this show. What a bear. Anyway, as a little surprise, it's time for this. Yes, Tales of the Unexpected, no less. We haven't done this one for a while, have we? So, it's a beauty as well. We go take you back to transfer deadline day. We head to Spain. A central defender by the name of Juan Fernandez Blanco, who actually goes by the name of Juan Ibiza. Yes, Ibiza. So, he was plying his trade for Almeria, but he'd already been out on loan at Sabadell and he was looking for a move. Well, having known his time was up, where else would Juan sign for? Of course he did. He signed for Ibiza. Juan Ibiza signed for Ibiza. It gets better. Guess where Juan Ibiza of Ibiza was born? Yes, he was born in Ibiza. So Juan Ibiza from Ibiza now plays for Ibiza. Absolutely beautiful. I have been told he's very good on the deck. Yes, come on. There's a dad joke right there for you at the end of the show. What more could you ask for? So, what can I say? Another show comes to a close. The stupidest show on YouTube by miles. I don't care. It's what it is. You know. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give us a like. We do enjoy those. Do not forget to click subscribe and the little bell down below so you never miss another show. But for now, it is ding ding. Next stop, Saturday the 25th of September for what will be episode 56. And as always, people, until then, stay safe.